Now, let's talk about the most dangerous personality lie you've been sold and how it's keeping you stuck. There is a story you've been told about personality, that it's fixed, that it defines you, that once you find your type, that's it, you are that person for life. That story is wrong. It may even sound scientific, but it's limiting. Let's break the myths that keep people stuck. It's a myth that you are stuck with your personality for life. The truth is, personality isn't a prison, it's a pattern. And patterns can change. Trauma can shift it overnight. So can experience, so can choice, so can awareness, like the one you are building right here, right now. I was born a very happy, bubbly, talkative little girl, always smiling, always expressive. Then, before I was 2, I was in a car accident. After that, I stopped speaking. Later, I developed a stutter. As I grew up, I became quiet, introverted, and afraid to speak. I lived in silence and fear. That silence gave me one thing. I learned to write. But I quickly realized something. If I wanted people to read my words, I had to also learn to speak. That journey later became my award-winning book, From Fear to Fierce, built on everything I discovered while overcoming my own fears. At one point, as a child, I couldn't even choose what to wear without 40 minutes of hesitating and asking my mom. I needed help even with the smallest decisions. Now, decades later, everything has shifted and our roles reversed. My mom, due to illness, became quieter and more passive, and I became the one making decisions, leading, moving things forward. We both changed completely. And that's the point. You are not stuck. You are not one thing. You are not finished. It's a myth that you only have one dominant personality type. The truth is, you shift traits constantly, and you are far more dynamic than you think. The idea of one fixed, true type is comforting but misleading. You are not one expression, you are a mix of patterns that change depending on context, people, and situations. Think about it. If you were exactly the same in a job interview as you were on a holiday or when arguing with your partner, that would be strange. We all adapt constantly. That's not fake, that's human. When new opportunities appear, you might feel excitement, curiosity, expansion, but over time you learn that impulsiveness doesn't always serve you. So you develop structure, analysis, and discipline alongside it. In other moments, when chaos hits at work, you step up, take charge, and lead with good intention, but later you realize that your decisiveness could be misunderstood as being cold or harsh. So you learn to slow down, communicate better, and rebuild trust before directing change. Around dominant people, you might become more passive unless you consciously decide to match their energy. And in relationships, this becomes even clearer. When one partner becomes passive, the other one often steps into control. Balance shifts, resentment builds. Both people end up trapped in roles that they never consciously chose. That's why this matters. When you understand personality patterns, you finally have language for what's happening, not just around you, but also inside you. And once you have that language, you gain choice. You can shift, you can balance, you can respond instead of react. You are not one type, you are an orchestra of traits. and it's time for you to start conducting it. It's a myth that you were born with fixed personality. The truth is, you already have access to every trait. You just haven't learned how to use all of them. Yes, you have natural tendencies, but as I described above, I was naturally born as a happy, smiling, cheerful girl, when in fact I spent most of my life as a quiet, shy, and timid child and adult. And returning back to my talkative self was one of the hardest, if not the one hardest, thing of my life.